reality? What's the reality?
Hey y'all, and welcome back to What's the Reality? But before we start, I just want to thank everybody for listening. And if you have not clicked yet, that subscribe button, get on it right now. I really appreciate your support, and I'm happy that you guys are here. Today, we have Mal Wright from The Ultimatum, Queer Love Season 1, joining me all the way from New York. We're going to catch up and, of course, talk all about the new season of Ultimatum Queer Love. Hey, Mal.
Hey, what's
Welcome
going
to
on?
What's the Reality?
What's up?
I haven't seen you since last summer.
Yeah, at the Netflix, the house party.
Yeah,
right?
how are you?
I'm chilling. I'm living.
Yeah.
New York's cute. New York summer is undefeated. Anybody can, I'm not gonna say anybody can fight me on that because there's been a lot of summers that are great, but New York summer, Brooklyn summers are different.
I haven't
They're really
experienced the
good.
Brooklyn summer yet.
Don't sleep. Come on. Come visit your cousin.
Okay, so catch me up. What have you been up to since being on TV?
A lot of things. What's great is I work for Autostraddle, which is a queer publication.
Okay.
So that's been fun. Working back in HR, working in casting production has been fun. I got to help with casting this new season, this new
Yeah.
set of folks on this journey.
We're gonna get all into that.
Outside of influencing, doing my thing, going to all the queer parties, going to everybody's party.
She said you can find me at the parties. I'm outside.
I'm kind
Okay.
of inside. Also, while I'm here, let me just say that I am officially inside.
We're inside.
We're inside. We got a boo.
That's what I was
inside.
about to say. Does this have anything to do with your new boo?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm like a cosplayer for outside. Like, I like to give that I be outside, but I leave the party early.
Okay. Let's go back to Buki. How did y'all meet? How did y'all meet? When did we meet? What's tea on that?
Okay, so we've been dating for probably a year and a half now. It'll be 2 years in August. So we met at an event that I was working.
Mm-hmm.
She came to find me, unpopular opinion, because the comments say otherwise, but she came to look for me. She can verify
She
this.
came to find me is crazy.
She came to find me with her buddies, and we just been kicking it ever since. It's been good. It's been sweet. I've been on a low about it, kind of.
You have. You give like, I feel like when you post her online, it's always some kind of like jokey joke. Like, I don't really know what's the tea. Like, you guys have like some really fun Instagram posts, but like you do keep her pretty like hidden away.
Yeah. If I haven't learned one thing, I think like being public is great for those people that love doing that.
Yeah.
I think if I've learned one thing, it's to protect, and be private about my love.
Yeah.
So let me not say that. Never mind.
Ooh.
I'll share that with you offline.
Ooh. No, I get it. Private and protected, but not hidden. Like, let the world know, but still protect the sanctity of your relationship. I get that. Is there anything that you learned from your season that you brought into this new relationship?
Oh yeah. I still took my time, but I was much more intentional with like asking the questions that I want to know immediately.
Yeah.
Like getting into what she thought about relationships constructs and structures, and what does teamwork look like?
Mhm.
What is it? What are we doing? 50-50? How do you fill in for your other partner? What does that look like? What does she want her household to look like? Does she want kids or not? How does her family feel? So we just got into those questions a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
If she knows how to protect me as a Black woman, like we got into those questions really, really, really fast.
I think that's the beauty of these types of dating shows. It's like you have no choice but to ask those questions almost like day one, if not hour one, because everything is so expedited and then so magnified that if you wait 3 weeks, like for your instance, you had trial marriage for 3 weeks. If you wait till the third week, you'll never know. You literally have to ask those questions immediately. And then you bring that into the real world where people are waiting 1 or 2 years to ask the questions that we've asked in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Even like fighting, because you're going to get into fights, you're going to get into arguments. And it was like, do we argue the same? Do we fight the same? And like, what does resolve look like? And what does repair look like? That I don't know. These shows kind of force you to get into that really, really quick.
Yeah. It's a good habit, but it can be intimidating to people that aren't ready, that aren't there mentally.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to explain why I'm talking about babies and marriage in the first hour of our very first date.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely that.
Okay, so you entered your season with your partner Yoli, who issued you the ultimatum. Have you guys spoken since the reunion?
A little bit, yeah. Not much. I think it's important to leave well enough alone.
Mhm.
So not unless it has to do with, well, my father passed, so I think I spoke to her family then, but no, we don't really speak.
Yeah.
I don't need to.
Yeah, I feel that. Are you still good friends with your child marriage partner, Lexi?
Yes.
Yeah.
We still speak pretty often. As often as we can. She's super busy too, but yeah, we still speak. I still speak to her family.
Did you watch Battle Camp?
I did.
Yeah. How was that?
That was, it was tough. It was tough to watch, but I was like, come on, Lexi,
Am I going to see you on any other shows?
Potentially. But what you won't see me on is a love show.
No.
I'm not fighting for my relation. I'm not doing that.
No.
I'm good on it. If
feel
I'm
like-
ever single again, which I hope we're done
Yeah.
and we're good, I will never go back on another dating show.
Never. God forbid I end up single, never doing another dating show. I would rather do like Survivor Reboot or like Fear Factor and eat like, never mind, something
100%.
crazy.
100%. Yeah.
No more dating shows. I could see you on like Traders or like some kind, or like the, what was it? The Mole or something. I could see you on one of those like strategy shows.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want next. A strategy show. I could do I don't know that I could do like a Naked and Afraid. I'm good on that. I don't think I could be outside in the wilderness, scared and naked. But absolutely, I could be eating something crazy, jumping off of something, trying to win the people over.
Yeah.
Put me on one of those.
Are you friends with anybody else from your season?
I haven't spoken to many people outside of like, the socials, the DMs. Not much.
Yeah.
But still cool. I mean, we're still cordial, you
Yeah.
know. We still say what's up and check in on each other.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody live around you, like in the New York area?
No, Lexi was living here for a quick second.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Okay. So you spoke a lot about being the only Black cast member on your season. How do you feel about the current representation of Black and queer women on reality TV in general?
I do have a lot of feelings around how we're protected on the shows, you know? And that's hard because then we go on these shows and then whatever we go through, us having human moments are up for consumption to everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And that's really hard to watch how everybody watching digests what they're seeing. And like narratives that have been part of our trope that get replayed on reality TV for people's entertainment. And that's really hard to watch. I think that's part of the reason why I got so interested in casting for the second season. And also just having some of the experience working in HR previously and recruiting and things like that. But I think the hard part specifically, the challenge specifically with the queer side of the show is, and Ultimatum, the premise of that show in particular. First of all, you gotta have couples that want to do it.
Right.
Like, I know me and my friends might sit around and be like, what happened to the representation? I wanna see more of us on these shows. And then my thought, now that I've worked in casting, is like, well, would you go on the show?
Right.
And they're like, hell no, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, here's part of why you won't see it, A. B, there's an entire team of people that go into casting these people, right? And then that team they don't make the final decision on who gets on the show. And then with Ultimatum, let's say there were more Black representation. Those people have to stay together.
Yeah.
So maybe there was another couple that would have been on the show, but they broke up before the show came out.
Right.
And I think like the other part that we don't think about is what happens to us. We don't get to rebound as quickly as everybody else going on these reality shows. That's just the reality of it. Like we go on these reality shows, and let's say I have a human moment and I react because some crazy stuff is happening and that's now on TV forever. my fall from grace is different than everybody else's.
Facts.
I don't get to just walk back into the world and just say, oh, I'm going to walk back into my corporate shell. And I did turn up on that show, but I was being disrespected.
Right.
Like, you know, so I think we often don't think about the risk that's at stake and why we don't see more Black couples on the show or Black people on the show. And Ultimatum is a hell of a show to just decide you want to be on.
Because everyone also sees the aftermath.
For sure.
And that plays a bigger role than seeing yourself on TV. It's like, okay, I'm seeing how everyone's being dragged. I'm seeing how everyone's being treated. Yes, I do want more representation. I'm not going to sign up for it. Because look what's happening.
Yeah, representation at what expense? There's a lot of variables to consider. I don't think any of it is with any malice or ill intent, but there's a lot to consider. And I think, unfortunately, and it's unfair, I think women of color, specifically Black women I can speak to, have to consider a lot more when just deciding to go on these shows.
I agree with that 100%. Let's get into Ultimatum Queer Love Season 2, because I'm dying to know your thoughts on what your first impressions were of these couples, okay?
Okay.
Let's start with AJ and Brittany. First impression.
Love them down. I really do. I think they were in some really interesting positions and thinking about a lot of things. Brittany and Angel.
Sweetheart.
Can do no wrong.
Yeah, she's so cute.
Smart girl.
Yeah.
Doing everything that she needs to do.
Yeah.
Really just trying to like set up, I don't know, just set her life up a certain way. She comes from Caribbean background. Both of them do. I get it. I understand it. I feel it. I get it. I think AJ's a super cutie, really charismatic. And I think that might get read wrong sometimes. I think that she's just a really charismatic girly. And
yeah, and
she
so
was
did
running with
all
that.
of the cast of season 2. Everyone. Everyone was like, mine, immediately. Mine, which I get. She ate down and, you know,
I think it was really smart for her. I didn't know how I felt at first watching, right? And then I saw her at the changeover or at the decision day.
Yeah.
Pick somebody completely off of what I thought she was gonna pick. And I said, okay, now our head's in the game, baby.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wait, because who she picks is gonna tell me what she's here for.
100%.
And I was like, okay, I thought she was gonna go for Marita. I thought she was, because I thought she was here for a good time, not a long time. And I thought that's what Marita was gonna give.
Yeah.
But it looked like she was like, I actually want to learn something. So I think that's pretty dope as well. Okay.
I appreciate she did that.
Yeah. Let's talk about Dayna and Magan. Not throwing the hands up.
I have a soft spot for everybody that did it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, I just know how hard it is. It's just so freaking hard. And it sucks. And when you're in that position, I don't know, you're like in survival mode, kind of.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a tough one. I had to pause on them and get up and walk away.
Ooh.
I was extremely triggered watching them.
Why?
I think it was hard. Like, it was really hard. We didn't see any entry into their bedrooms. It was really hard to hear lovers connecting. And I have been through this same setup, same show. And I just had to get up. I had to pause, get up. My girlfriend was like, are you good? And I said, I need a moment and I just need to set this down. So you can keep watching without me. That's hard. That's just hard.
Yeah.
And I get it. And also, it's hard. I don't know. I pray for them. I hope they're okay. I hope they make it. I think they will. I just hope they make it.
I mean, past all the social media stuff, if they make it through all the social media stuff, they'll be all right.
It's that.
That's what's really gonna eat them up.
It's that. It's when you have to face all of that with everybody's voice. That is hard.
Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Bridget and Kyle.
I like them too. I really love Kyle's parents. They were so cute.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish we would have gotten more out of Kyle. You know, I still don't know who I was watching. And I think being on TV is a really hard thing, you know? And Bridget has so much to say. Not like she just has like really thoughtful things to come out and just say.
Right.
And so I don't know. I don't know how I feel yet. I like them as a couple. I think they're fine. I think they're gonna make it. I think they're great. I just wish we got more out of Kyle.
Yeah.
What I got out of Kyle was like fear. And it seemed like fear of being perceived or judged by people.
But I feel that. Okay, Hayley and Pilar.
I'm a fan of Hayley. She's just so honest. She's so immediately honest. I'm not saying she's not without fault, but she's just so truly honest. And she didn't seem like, from what I saw, she let Pilar have her feelings. She was really clear about how she felt, where she was. If she had a misstep, she cleared it up. She wasn't trying to, it didn't seem like there was a lot of ego involved. So I'm a fan of hers. I feel a little bad for Pilar. I think she got kind of the bad end of the stick in some situations. Even the thing with her and Kyle, it was really hard to process what actually happened, you know? Like I guess they had a connected moment but didn't happen on camera.
Yeah, that was hard to process.
On camera.
Yeah, that was hard. I didn't know what was going on there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I kind of ended up feeling like bad for both of them, you know?
Okay. Marita and Ashley.
I don't really have much to say because I don't think we saw a lot of Ashley, not too much, like develop, you know? Marita and Brittany. I loved watching them. That was fun to watch.
Cute. That was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really get to watch Ashley. I don't think I got to see enough of her to have a real decision, you know, a real feeling about them.
Did you cast any of these couples? I'm curious.
I was part of casting most of them.
Ooh, okay.
And when we say, let me clear it up. Let me clarify. When we say casting, I got to talk to them, see their whole, you know, situation, why they're here, what's going on. But the final, and if I feel like, I think this would be good for them. And there's a team of people that do this.
There's levels. There's levels.
There's so many levels.
Yeah. And finally, Marie and Mel.
Mel gonna trigger me every time. And she's just a human.
Yeah.
But Mel gonna trigger me every time.
Why?
All that lying. All that, oh my gosh. That's it. I mean, I think also probably like all of it was hard for everybody.
Right.
I ended up feeling bad for Marie for the things that she didn't know was going on. And was a writer, just was like, all right, well, I believe you. If you say it's not that, then it's not that.
Don't make me look stupid.
Yeah, and Mel was standing. I have empathy for people like lying, maybe when they're like just really scared. I think people lie out of fear.
Yeah. And
just be like, oh, I don't know, so they tell a lie. But standing 10 toes on it and dragging it sends me every time.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. That's tough to watch the person that you love in so much pain, knowing that you caused the pain and not being able to help them because you're lying.
Yeah.
That, I don't know.
She kind of gives me like, also just like if you call her out on it, she might know it and might still just be like, well, all right, whatever. Yeah, like I guess you caught me, so.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's tough.
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit more about the casting. How did you even get involved? Did they reach out to you? Did you reach out? Were you just passionate about it? How did that happen?
No, I mean, being the only Black person on cast in my season, and wanting to get on do a different type of show, I spoke to one of the old casting directors that, you know, I worked with previously and would just ask questions like, how do you do this? How do you get into casting? And they're like, well, do you want to get casted or do you want to work in casting? And I said, well, shit, let's talk about both.
Right.
You know? And then it turned into that. And I just had I had like transferable skills because I've already worked in some capacity. It's pretty similar to like corporate and hiring or recruiting anybody else. So that was it. And they thought it'd be a good idea. And I brought up how interesting and weird it was to be the only Black person on cast. How does that happen? You know, and it went that way. They took a chance and it went that way.
So what was it like going from participant on the show to casting it?
It felt really good to be able to ask some deeper questions, like why people don't get on these shows. It was really interesting to see how they make decisions about cast, you know, and how like it is important that it mimics the world around you.
Mm-hmm.
So it is relatable to the people that are watching. It was cool to be able to give insight to cast members before going on and being very honest. Because it's one thing to speak to your casting director, casting producer, and say them telling you like how great it's going to be for your relationship. It's different when you have somebody that's done it and is like, I think it could help. I can't promise you it's going to be easy.
Right.
It's going to be very hard. And just be really honest about what they're stepping into.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel like looking back about the final cast? Is there a couple that you kind of had in your mind that you're like, they better make it through? And then you watch the final cast and you're like, well, what the hell is this?
For sure. AJ and Britt.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all better.
You needed them in.
Y'all better make it through.
Is there any couple that made it through the final casting, that made it onto the show that you're like, how'd y'all get here?
I don't remember seeing Marita and Ashley. But I mean, that's part of it. People break up. And I mean, they have like, you know, there's like people couples on standby to like make it through, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on who paired up with who during the trial marriages? Do you feel like the matches made any sense?
I think all the matches made as much sense as they could make. I mean, obviously I thought Marita and Brittany being together, I was like, what is going on here? And how could nobody choose Brittany? What are we talking about
that part
right now?
That part.
You know, let's be for real. But then they ended up being like one of my favorite couples.
They were fun to watch, yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on meeting up or talking with your ex while in a new trial marriage?
I think if we're talking about like following the rules, like you probably shouldn't do it, right? Like I think meeting up and talking with your ex or your original partner will only confuse you. It'll only like muddy the integrity of what you're doing. Because that happened to me, right? Like with my trial and her talking to her ex 2 days, 3 days in and sharing something that she had done. That really changed the trajectory of what our relationship could have been, maybe. But also, I'm gonna talk to my boo. Like, what are we talking about? I ran into Yoli a couple times, like in the gym, and I 100% pulled her aside and was like, "What is going on?
Yeah,
talk to me.
Yeah,
like, and you know this and that, and like, and I need some reassurance. You know,
I can't even lie. I would sneak out every night to go find my man. I would be like, I'm not. I would be an absolute mess, especially if I issue the ultimatum. I would be calling. I would be annoying. There's no way in hell. And I'd be trying to interrupt things. I'd be like, it's midnight. I don't know what y'all doing, but hello. I would be trying to cock block. I would be trying to ruin things. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah. What's up? What we doing?
Come meet me. I'm a mess. Come talk to me. No, I would be a mess. I wouldn't.
Right now, I'm going home. What are you talking about? AD, there was one time where we were doing the dates, right? I'm telling all the tea now, because now I can tell it.
Yes.
We were on the dates, and we're in our own hotel rooms, right? And we're like, I can't believe I'm telling you this. And we're like, she had her dog there. And obviously, I've been with this dog for 3 years now, 3 years now. So the dog, we know each other. And I remember they were like, oh, well, let's let Mal spend time with the dog. And so when it was time for me to take the dog outside, I told the dog, go home. Ooh. And the dog walked me right back to Yoli. Ooh. And I said, we need to talk. Like, what's up? Here's what I'm thinking.
The dog brought me here.
Has nothing to do with me. The dog took me to you.
That would be me. Every day I'd be like, go home.
I'm trying to talk to my girl.
Yeah, no, I would ruin the whole integrity of the show would be ruined. Everybody would be like, AD robbed us of our experience. I sure did. Give my man. I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Let's go home.
Yeah, let's go home. Okay. So things got really messy with Dayna and Mal, Magan and Hayley. What's your thoughts on all of that?
That was hard. Because at first I said, oh, Dayna is outside. Like sending it.
Yeah.
And then what's Dana's partner's name? Megan. Meg.
Was also outside.
Was also then. Let me counter that. Let me raise you two. I'm outside also.
Also outside, right.
Right. And then it's just hard because then Dayna was like, but I was just like outside. And then Meg was like, but I fell for this person. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Right.
If we're going to be outside, let's just be outside.
Right.
And then wrap it up
Right.
and reel it in.
And be honest about our outside activities. Let's all be real about what's going on here. Yeah.
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 I think it got way more messy than anybody could have anticipated, because not only were they outside, but they were outside and catching feelings. If you're going to be outside and having fun, that's one thing, because then we could come back home and talk. But if you're going to come back home and tell me you're in love with somebody, now we have a problem.
We have a problem.
Now we have
You're
an
not
issue.
in love in 3 weeks. I don't care what anybody says.
Wait, I thought lesbians fall in love in 2 weeks.
That's what they say, AB, but that's not for real. That's your chemicals in your brain. We need like a rule book of engagement. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're gonna think you're in love, and I'm not saying your feelings aren't valid, but what I am saying is, this is what your brain does. It's a chemical process.
Yeah.
Love is built over time. Like, yeah, I really got to go through some things.
Yep.
You know, figure out life together, ride the wave up, let it peak for a second.
So
then
3
assess.
weeks is not enough time to get a matching tattoo.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'd probably get a matching little tattoo with somebody in like 1 day if I think you're dope. Not a loved one, Sammy, just in case my girlfriend
Not a loved one.
tunes in.
Yeah.
Just a little friend one.
Yeah. That was quite messy. That was hard to watch as well, because I don't know. I keep putting myself, like, I like to just put myself in these people's situations when I'm watching the shows, and I'm like, if my partner came back and was like, I love my trial marriage partner, I would throw up, slide down the wall, maybe jump out the window. I don't think I could handle that at all.
I went through that,
Yeah.
and my body was there.
Yeah.
But my spirit had to leave for a second. Because I said, okay,
Yeah.
this is taking a turn.
Mm-hmm.
You know what really blew me though? That playlist.
The playlist.
What that did to my nerve. Cause why do you have a private playlist with anybody but me?
Like, okay, the song lists that were up, and then you went and made a separate playlist with our songs
on that list?
On that playlist. And then his most recent played a sex playlist. No, that, again, I'm not strong enough. I'm not strong enough. I would have leaped across that table. I'm not strong enough.
Why are our songs there? Why is our song over there on that list?
Our song on a recently played sex playlist. And imagine you're just sitting there in your room minding your business and you go to turn it on.
You know what though? Lesbians do stuff like this. You know, I feel like not really surprised about it. I remember my Netflix sign-in. I had a, you know, we all share Netflix accounts. And I went to sign into my Netflix one time with somebody new that I was dating. And my ex put on one of the little, what is it, like avatars? She put your favorite ex.
Ooh, messy.
I said, oh, why would you do that?
Wait, but that's a great idea.
So messy.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Did you have to explain that?
Of course. I mean, it was just so humiliating. It was just weird, humiliating, funny.
Yeah.
But also just like, I'm so sorry.
Ooh, okay.
And it was to be expected from that ex. I mean, it was.
Was she your favorite ex?
No.
Oh. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had strong boundaries around anything physical while you were on your show. How do you think getting physical with your trial marriage partner can hurt or help you in this experience?
I think hurting and helping are probably one and the same in this particular experience. I didn't want to confuse either one of us.
Yeah.
Because sex just changes the game.
100%.
You know?
Blurs the lines.
And I just,
yeah,
I didn't want to do that. And I wouldn't do that in the real world, either, you know? So I couldn't do that. But I think doing it, it's gonna hurt who you did it, whoever your original partner is. It's gonna hurt them, but it's also gonna help speed up the process to y'all do whatever you need to do. So like, it sucks, but also maybe it has to happen so you can move on.
Right.
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
My life now, I'm actually really, I hate the things that I went through. I'm so grateful for the process though. I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In what ways makes you grateful about it?
I think I would have stayed longer and just drug out what was inevitably going to happen anyway, and probably just hurt each other more. Clipped us, saved us a lot of time.
Whew. Okay. Let's get back to season 2. What has been your favorite moments from this season so far?
I'm actually, it's kind of cool to see. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know if it's cool or not, because I'm watching it from an entertainment consumer's perspective, right? But they all really like gave into the process.
Yeah. This is one show
Fully.
you have to lean into. I've learned that watching all the seasons and all the variations of it, you have to lean into this process.
They really did.
Yeah.
They really leaned in. And I love, I really appreciate lesbians talk so much. We just talk so much about everything.
Yeah.
We talk it out. Lord, ad nauseum, we talk so much, but I really like it. I like watching how we talk. I like taking tips from them. And I mean, they're all examples in some way and have inspired me too in some ways. I really loved watching how Kyle and Bridget were like processing through something. Because I'm gonna raise my voice if I can't get my point across. And they just talk calm the whole time about really hard things. So I loved that. I loved seeing, I didn't think them making out with somebody was a big deal, but it was interesting to see like that is actually a big deal to somebody, So just having different examples of how people exist in the world. I loved learning about and knowing about Meg being Middle Eastern and like how that went into play and how she shows up in the world. I saw that and just felt for her in my own ways. And we just had a lot of like, juicy things going on, different dynamics at play, so many different variables and dynamics at play.
I think one of my favorite moments was watching Brittany kind of come around from being so devastated, kind of feeling not picked, just watching her partner be like picked by so many, and then her having the realization that she's just, one, losing her person, and then 2, now she's matched with someone by default. But then I think one of the most powerful moments was watching her come out of that and like watching her be like, okay, I'm going to lean into this. This is not ideal. This is not what I wanted, but I'm here with Marita. I know what she wants. And I loved how she kept saying like, what was it? Like, I'm going to turn on my daddy or like show her my daddy swag or whatever the hell she was saying. And like really stepped into like, okay, what can I learn from this? Instead of being sad and bitter and like ruining the whole experience, she made the best out of it. And how Marita like stepped up and was there for her and encouraged her. I thought that was probably one of my favorite parts.
I do, to your point, I love that was shown because I think a lot of times media tries to create or show this narrative of this Black girl being bitter and mad and angry, and she wasn't that at all.
She just missing
you weren't
her
that
person.
either on your show. Like I like that we got to see that.
Softness.
Yeah.
Vulnerability. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty dope. Okay. Do you have any predictions for how the season will end? Who will stay together and who will break up?
If I know lesbians like I think I do, everybody's going to propose to everybody. And everybody's going to say yes. I think.
Fair enough.
I think. If I don't know what's going to happen. I really just put like a prayer of protection over all of them because I just don't know what happens when you have to face everybody else, the public. That is a whole different beast.
Yeah.
So I think they all might end up together. Hopefully they can stay together through that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Positivity. I love it.
I don't know. Marie gonna have to talk to Mel though. We're gonna have to work on Mel. I don't want to do too much on Mel. You know what I mean? Because I'm not too much on Mel, but gosh, I don't know. I really do feel for Marie too. I hope they make it through.
Yeah. So we're just putting well wishes on everyone at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I have well wishes on the people from my cast that I didn't love the most, but I still wish them well.
That part. What would you say was your biggest takeaway from the Ultimatum Queer Love?
I think ultimatums can be necessary. I'm not against them. I just maybe wouldn't do one publicly. Maybe you don't publicly give anybody an ultimatum. Maybe you don't do that.
Why?
I just don't know if those humans are fragile, man. They make really weird decisions under pressure and humility.
Yeah.
And if you don't know them well enough, sometimes those decisions can really backfire on you in a very ugly way.
Yeah, I feel like if you've reached the point of ultimatum, I think you kind of have your answer.
You think so?
I think so. For me.
Yeah.
For me. I feel like conversations should be had for sure as far as where are we going, what are we doing, and are we aligned? But I think once you've reached the point of kind of, and this is just my opinion, but kind of like cornering somebody into being like this or this, you automatically put that person into fight or flight. And I never want somebody to make a decision of how they want to move forward with their life with me based out of fight or flight.
Yeah,
and I know
that's a good one.
It just seems like a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's a good one. I also think like, me personally, I think you do know a lot sooner than you don't. That sounds so cliche.
Yeah,
but
I agree. You know.
Yeah, you kind of know about a person a lot sooner than.
Yeah. You have a very strong idea. A very strong idea sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think so.
What about, can I ask about you and Sammy? Do you know? What do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you know?
I don't know. Maybe I know.
You what?
Maybe I know. I don't know. Maybe she knows.
Okay. So,
maybe there are talks. Maybe there aren't talks. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
maybe our parents know things. I'm not sure. I don't know.
You do know, because you just said, you know. Sooner than later.
Maybe I just know a lot sooner than I knew later.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be on the lookout. I'm gonna be watching, because I'm feeling something here.
Feeling a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's my boo. That's my boo. She's a good one.
I know.
She's a good one. And she's my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
And she likes me. You know, she loves me down, but she actually likes me. I think you gotta be with somebody that actually likes you.
That part. Anything new or exciting that you're currently working on, or like in your personal life or professionally?
Yeah, working on a podcast. So maybe you can be on. AB.
Not maybe. When are we airing?
Definitely on.
Definitely, because I got some things to talk about.
Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah.
Okay, podcast. Do you have a date for airing?
We don't have a date for airing, but we're looking at July.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great news. That'll give me a reason to come to New York.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, podcast.
And I'll be in LA. I'll pop up on you in LA.
Yeah, you know I live here now.
What?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yay. And Ollie?
Yeah.
Can I tell you I was screaming? I love Ollie down.
Oh, me too.
Big time. Was rooting for him. So this?
Listen, talk about when you know you know. When you know you know. Somebody that knew sooner rather than later. Anyway, with that being said, it was such a pleasure to have you here with me on What's the Reality, and I really appreciate you taking the time all the way from New York to come join me and talk about this new season of the Ultimatum Queer Love Season 2. This has been such a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. You know you my sis. Whatever you say. You asked me to pull up, I'm pulling up.
I'm gonna ask you to pull up once the reunion is out, because I want to hear. Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on that as well.
We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you again. And thank you guys for tuning into another episode of What's the Reality. Be sure to follow us on all social platforms at What's the Reality Pod. And I will see you next Wednesday.
What's the reality? What's the reality?